Welcome to Just Pause. Thank you so much for honoring yourself and this practice by taking the time to pause, to just be. Welcome to Just Pause. Go ahead and find yourself a comfortable, sustainable, I call it a landing pose. It's not a permanent position. It's just one that we're going to temporarily land into with as much ease as possible for the duration of our practice. And then we go out, back to the real world, to do what needs to be done, to do what's important, to do what matters, to do the great work of our life, or in the yogic term, our dharma, or as I like to call it, our life's work. Thanks for being here and welcome. Inspiration for today's practice is coming from Stephen Cope's work, The Great Work of Your Life. This is our current book study for our Guru Circle. The quote that stirred Stephen into writing this book, the quote that kind of woke him up and shook him out to take seriously the opportunity of living and yoga as the tool to do it well, to do it better. Let's begin. Let's take time to pause and allow what needs to come forth to come forth. Okay? So find that landing pose, that comfortable, calm, abiding space just to be. And I'm taking inspiration today from our current book club book title from Stephen Cope, The Great Work of Your Life. Now, this quote comes from the Gnostic Gospel of Thomas, and Stephen uses it to lay the foundation for essentially what has fueled his pursuit of yoga, not just as the asana, but as in living well, as in doing our dharma. Now, I caution because when I first read this quote, I'm kind of put out. I kind of felt like, oh, then if I'm suffering or I'm in garbage, that must mean I'm not doing my work, right? Or I'm not enough. That's not the point. So allow yourself to just listen and see if you can't find that beckoning call to continue the work. Yes, of sorting out our stories and reframing perhaps our circumstances to see what is being called forth. So here's the quote from the Gnostic Gospel of Thomas. If you bring forth what is within you, what you bring forth will save you. If you do not bring forth what is within you, what you do not bring forth will destroy you. I think much of my suffering is buried in the layers of protection, doubt, and fear of revealing my most authentic self, the Atman center. In which case, what he's saying is that if we don't bring that forth, we will be harmed. We will struggle for breath, which is exactly what happens for me when anxiety strikes. I struggle for breath. I struggle to see, to hear truth, the harm that is caused by not speaking my truth, not serving from my dharma. So what is it perhaps that you want to bring forth, but have yet to bring forth? Just even admitting that there is something, even not knowing what it is, opens that doorway. Stephen writes that in retrospect, I realize that I felt the punch of that second phrase only because I had genuinely experienced moments of the first. To me, the moments of those first bringing forth what is within you will save you. To me, that's the closest experience I have with bliss. That, the angels sing, the world parts and makes way for me to arrive. He writes, I do know the experience of bringing forth what is within me. For most of my life, these bringing forth moments have been fleeting. But twice, I've had the experience sustained over a period of years. Both times this happened while I was writing a book. Writing required everything I had and then some. It flayed me alive. But I kept coming back again and again. I kept bringing forth the best that was in me. I can't say whether the books that came forth are good or not. Some say yes and some say no. It doesn't matter. It seems that it was the effort required to bring them forth itself that saved me. The effort to bring them forth. In other words, putting our intention into attention, into focus, and into action. Not the outcome, not the results. But can you commit to an action that is a reflection of what's within you? This is the yoga of action, or inaction in action, as the Bhagavad Gita teaches. So notice here in this still pause, what needs to be flushed out, what needs to be let go of, pruned. There's a scripture in the Bible that says you can't put new wine into old wineskins. And that when we embrace the truth, it's like having shed our old skin. What are you holding on to? What are you willing to let go of in order to let this truth shine forth in action? For many of us, our dharma does not simply reveal itself in its entirety, but rather through diligent practice of peeling back the layers. Another concept that Stephen Cope shared in an earlier work, that we can create clearer seeing through the practice of diligently showing up, to be with what is and to do what is within our capacity. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna teaches the path of inaction in action, or Naish Karma Karman. Krishna shows Arjuna a path to the authentic self through action in the world. Not through renunciation and withdrawal, not through retreat or even theologizing, and not, especially not, through inaction. Pause is not a retreat. Pause is creating the space for preparation, building our foundation in compassion so that we can step forward. That takes courage to do the things that are already within us, just waiting to be expressed, to be shared. The Bhagavad Gita can perhaps be summarized as the lesson that it is better to do our own dharma imperfectly than it is to do another's dharma perfectly. Now, I don't know how to tell whether or not we're doing it perfectly or imperfectly, but it doesn't matter. It's an evolution. Trust that inner knowing. Trust the discipline that it takes to show up and pause, to open up, peel back the layers to clearer seeing, to guide you closer and closer to doing your dharma, your life's work, as a natural expansion of your authentic self. This balance of effort and ease. Not easy, but it shouldn't always be hard. We show up and we give from our capacity, give to ourselves, and thereby giving to others an opportunity that only we can afford, only we can offer, because it is unique, as is the Atman center that we each have within, the spark of the divine. If you have even a fuzzy, hazy inkling of what your dharma is, maybe now is the time to choose your next right step, the next action in that direction. If the dharma is still really fuzzy, stay with the practice of clearer seeing. Continue to walk the path. Stephen Cope introduces a 4-step path. It's very similar to what I teach in Inspired Living. But can you find, through diligent showing up, what you say yes to, what you want to welcome into your life? Find the yes. Commit to that shift of whatever it takes to bring that yes into fulfillment, to bring that yes forth. Stick with the practice. Stay with it long enough to cultivate confidence and competence, to build the disciplines of patience and perspective and perseverance. Dharma will come forth if you give it your attention and practice acting as if you are in pursuit of that dharma. Trust the process. Let it unfold. It's not a race. It's not a competition. There's not really even a finish line. This is the journey of life. There have been seasons that I wish that I was embedded in a culture that had a strong ritual for becoming, for embracing our life's work. But yoga does that for us on a subtle or even a mind-blowing level by showing up, peeling back the layers, and cultivating a clearer sense of what we know, what we feel, what we be. We can do the Dharma. If you bring forth what is within you, it will save you from doubt, from suffering, from fear, from disconnection. If you bring forth what is within you, it will save you. We don't need the threat of the second half. Focus on the gift that comes when you bring forth what is within you, what is already there, fully available to come forth. Bring forth what is within you, and it will save you. Now, notice what you've noticed. Make peace with that which has caused friction as that invitation to dig deeper, to stay in the practice, to return again and again, to begin again the journey of walking your path, your Dharma. And if there is something that has come forth that is clear, then perhaps it is time for action in the world. What would that next right step be? Maybe it's to gather information. Maybe it's to make a connection. Maybe it's to test a theory. Not all actions are a direct line to achievement. That's the process. Trust the process. With that, start to bring your attention back into this space, back into this moment, back into this body. Know that this Atman, this what is within you, is still within you, but it does not require 100% all day long attention, especially when we start. But as it grows in clarity, as it builds confidence and competence in you, it will start to show up in all of the places, in all the work that you do. With that, let's bring our hands together. And for this moment, if only this moment, trust the truth of this parable, of this story, that what is within us, bringing it forth, will save us. May you breathe deeply and move freely, labor lovingly, and live vibrantly. Namaste. Thank you so much for letting me share what I'm wrestling with and how I take inspiration and guidance from my teacher, Stephen Cope. Any comments, questions, or observations?
That helped me a lot.
Excellent. Excellent. Tell you, there's wisdom in the simple.